Okay, in this video, we're going to start learning about JavaScript variables, and variables are used to help store data. We just talked about string and number data. Variables help us store that data. So if we go to JS variables here, some key things we need to do is we need to declare a variable, tell JavaScript, hey, please make a storage container for me. We can assign data to that variable, a number or a string. We can use that variable to print it out, do calculations with it, that kind of stuff. We can reassign the variables, right? It's age 15. We can change that, assign something different, store a different value in there, and then output again. And it's possible to do this declare and assign all in one line. And we'll look at that in an example. And then we'll talk about some naming rules too, because there's some rules for that. But first, let's go back to this first HTML that I had from before. It doesn't matter what you have. You can start a new project if you want. I just want a script.js, right? Source script.js, so I can type some commands in here instead of doing it in the console. So let's have a title here. We'll call this, JS variables. So let's go let name. So that's a JavaScript command. If I hit run, nothing happens that we can see. But what's really happening, let me just open this up for a second. When I go let name, wow, that's really big. Okay, when I go let name, you can read that, right? You can see that? Okay, good. What's really happening here is JavaScript, let me get some lines, sure, is basically making like a container. That's my container. And we're giving it a name. We're giving it the name, right? Let name. It's declaring a variable called name. Okay, awesome. Hopefully that's not confusing that the name of the variable is name. This could be anything. It could be age, it could be seconds, it could be, right, storing whatever you want. Time, all sorts of stuff. So anyway, by doing this, I declare a variable, but that container, that named container is empty. Okay, in fact, it's undefined. If we go back to here, and if I were to go console.log name and hit run, it'll show up in the console down here undefined, right? It doesn't have a value yet. It's an undefined variable. But it exists, right? If I try to do console.log nam, it will say, hey, nam is not defined. Reference error, right? There is no variable called nam. Whereas doing this, JavaScript knows, hey, yes, there is a variable. You've declared a variable called name. The value is just undefined. Okay, so let's give it a value. So I can go name, and I don't have to do let again, right? I've already declared this variable. Now I can say, hey, variable, let's assign you. This equal sign is the assignment operator. It says this variable is assigned Colin. That's my name. And then we'll go console.log name, and hopefully we get Colin. And of course, if you did, Samantha and ran that, Samantha. So what we're basically doing is just saying, hey, we put some values in here. Oh, let's put, sorry, in quotations, right? I'm storing the string Colin inside of here. So that when I go, let's do that huge one again. When I go name is assigned Colin, that's what this does. It says, hey, storage location called name, you get the value Colin. So it's storing that inside of there. So that when I now do console.log name like that, okay, maybe this is a little too big, sorry. I want to make sure you can see it. Actually, I guess I can move all of this stuff too. Here, let's move that over. Okay, anyway, when I do console.log name like that, and let's add our semicolons, it's a good habit to get into. It's going to look up, hey, what's stored inside this variable name? Oh, it's got Colin in there, it'll print it out. Okay, awesome. Now, a common mistake, what's interesting here is if I did the quotations around this, it would actually just print out the word name, right? Because quotations mean this is just some string data. It's the text, N-A-M-E. So console.log that, and that's what it does. If we want to look up a variable, we need to not have the quotations around it, and then JavaScript knows, hey, this is referring to a variable. Okay, So what do we do? We've declared the variable, we've assigned the variable, we've used the variable, right? We've looked up its value to print it out. We can reassign that variable at any time. So name is Samantha, and then I can say, actually, I'm going to change my name to Sammy. And then we'll go console.log name again, and I run this, right? So the first time name was Samantha, then the next time name is now Sammy. Okay, so you can put new data into there, right? So basically, what I did was, let's just copy and paste that. There it is. If I say name is George, then basically it's saying, hey, this value in here is gone now. I've reassigned it, and now I'm going to store George inside of there. Okay, cool. And then the last thing I was going to show you is that you can actually do this, these two things here. Let's actually put a little box around here. Can I do that? Where's my rectangle? These two things right here are often done in one line of code. Normally what you can do is you could go, let's just do that right here. Let name be assigned colon. Okay, so you can do all of that kind of in one step instead of in two steps like that. Just like that. So instead of doing let name and the name is assigned this, it's very common to declare the variable and assign it all in one line like that. Okay, where were we? Storing values in variables, we can output them. Oh yeah, names. So normally, generally recommend to begin variable names with a lowercase letter. Okay, so start with a lowercase letter. After that, you can use lowercase, uppercase letters, you can use numbers and underscores, but nothing else. Okay, well actually you might be allowed some other weird characters, but just stick with these for now. If you have multi-word variables, you know, like username, well actually username might be just one. Anyway, bad example, sorry. High score maybe, right? You would go lowercase at the beginning, but then the next word would be capitalized. Okay. And make sure your variable names are intuitive. They should describe what they store, right? Don't just use like A, B, C, D, E. Give it a descriptive thing like name or, you know, this is the length, side length, something like that, right? Whatever you're asking the user for. Avoid using JavaScript reserved words. So let, alert, console, right? Those special commands that JavaScript uses, you shouldn't be using those as variable names, right? I've actually never tried that. That would be weird. If I did let, like, you know what I mean? Let, and my variable name is going to be let, I'm sure that's going to, yeah, let is disallowed as a lexically bound name. Sure, whatever that means. But it's basically, you can't use it as a variable. Not allowed. So let's try this. Let's go let name be assigned Megan. Let's say let time of day. So that's that camel casing example, right? Time start with lowercase, but then the next word is capital, next word is capital. Let time of day be morning. Maybe I can do a let MSG or message. So this is where it gets tricky, right? Like sometimes you can do short form stuff, but maybe message is more clear if other people read your code. And my message would be hello plus name. Remember, I can add strings together. So this should say hello plus whatever is stored in this variable. Hello name. And then I'll add I have to go plus again. Add an exclamation mark. And then let's do Control X to cut that. Control X to cut those. And then I'll just console.log message. Right, so name is a variable that stores this, time of day is a variable that stores this, message is a variable that stores the result of adding these things together, and then I output the result, and we get hello Megan, and then I was also going to add on here, hello Megan, have a nice time of day, plus a period. Hello Megan, have a nice morning. Okay, cool. And then we can change this. All right, let's say hello to Azra, and she can have a nice afternoon. Hello, Azra, have a nice afternoon, right? So name now stores Azra, so hello, and then it puts that value in. Time of day is now afternoon, so it puts that value in. Okay, cool. So variables, we declare them, we initialize them, right? We assign them values to them. We can use them in operations like this. We can also use them to output. We can reassign them to different things if we want, and make sure you watch your naming rules. Okay, I think I'm going to stop there, and in the next one we'll look at some more stuff we can do with variables, modifying and assigning them, shorthand stuff that you can do with them. So we'll look at that in the next video. Okay, hope that made sense. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one.